And that was in Pennsylvania, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a vet also, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Right. Well, it is coming down. And so, guys, you know, you need to just realize that we might be in that Solzhenitsyn moment real soon. And so, you know, that's why we're trying to amp up as fast as we possibly can. We've got a big billboard campaign directly to the troops outside of military bases.
Yeah, let's stop there. In the time we've got, let's review, since you were on a few months ago, the waterfront of what's going on here. Public Army documents, they admit are real, for re-education camps. That's it. You arrest everybody involved right there. That's sedition against the Republic. You're a constitutional lawyer. What is it, Yale? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, that's just flat out sedition. Re-education camps, Red Dawn. Okay, boom. Gun confiscation in the public manuals. These are public. Army.mil now. I mean, all of it is a confession of illegitimacy. The military grassroots knows this. Preparations for collapse. Everything we've been warning of from our sources is now out in the open. I'm getting chills. I mean, I'll just say that. I'm getting chills. Like you said, I used to get chills once a month, then once a week, then once a day, now every 5 minutes. I mean, it's all building towards this moment. And I want to avert and back them off because we need more time. But like you said, Patrick Henry said, well, they come. I mean, the war's already begun. I hope we haven't reached that moment yet because, like you said, they want us to get it going now because we are absolutely ripping their arms out of their sockets in the info war. That's why everyone listening and watching has got to get savage in the info war now. Use the web while we've still got it. They've got the censorship coming in that even CNET News says is Russian style with the cybersecurity. They've got totally, I mean, it's all there. There's no doubt. But, you know, you have these county judges coming out saying they're awake now. I mean, it's happening. I think the globalists are miscalculating, Stuart. But I mean, I'm ranting there. Let's go over this whole constellation of news. What does this signify?
Well, I mean, it's that closing window. It's a narrowly closing window for us to. What we're really doing, Alex, is right now, between now and when it kicks off, we are shaping the future battle space. I don't think we're going to get out of this without a fight. I think we need to be honest with ourselves and recognize what's coming. If you've seen the Gray State trailer, it's pretty much that. That's what's coming down the road. But what we do between now and then can tip the balance. That's why I believe, you know, we should really put our focus on getting to the guys with the guns as much as possible. And we talked to 4 Marines who served with Brandon Robb. And I'll give you guys that clip, and if you want to get them on, I can give you their contact info. It was amazing. It gave me such hope to talk to these squared away young Marines who are stand-up Americans. And so that's what's really going to give the New World Order folks and the elites fits, is there are good squared away guys within their own ranks who are not going to have any of it. And they're gonna fight with us if they have to. So we're still hoping for a 1989 East Germany style stand down. That's my goal. It's a peaceful stand down. But I'll tell you what, folks, if we don't attain that, then it's going to be a fight, and it's going to be a fight within the military too. But it's not going to be monolithic, you know, black boot military guys following orders. It's going to be an internal civil war within the military as well.
And let's be clear. I mean, let's be clear. Everything is set up for a domestic takeover by foreign banks that brag they've captured us. It's important to point out, I like the parallels of people think the French just lost to the Germans in 2 weeks. 70+% of their military was Vichy. They had signed on secretly with the Nazis who had infiltrated. The French military stood down, mainly the British troops that were in France fought a small rear guard, and then, of course, had that big evacuation at the sea. What was it, Dunkirk? I'm going from memory. But the point is that the Vichy were collaborators. And I want to make it clear here. From my historical analysis, the globalists, all their minions, all the idiots they've hired, most of them are just morons that think they're the good guys. They're Vichys. And they are collaborators with pure evil New World Order banker takeover. And now it's all out in the open. So, folks, do not be collaborators with the New World Order. I mean, do you agree with that parallel, and what do you have to say?
No, you're right. Like Colonel Benson there, Leavenworth, he's a good example. I like to call them Tories, but same thing. Tories, Vichy, take your pick. They're the enemy within the gates, and you know, this is a lesson from ancient Greece through Rome and on down through history. Is most societies fall because traitors within open the gates for the enemy, and that's what's happening here. So you're right; it's a good parallel.
Talk about the colonel, the one that says the Tea Party is going to be an insurrection. They predict that will merge and link up with Al-Qaeda. I mean, that is so asinine.
Oh, it is, and I think it's a gift for us. This is Colonel Kevin Benson at Fort Leavenworth, and he's no small fry. As Mike Vanderbo over at 60th Street Regulars pointed out, this is a guy who is pretty well in the inner circle among the academia within the military for teaching what they consider to be, future war. I mean, what he's trying to do is shape the future battle space, and he's trying to shape it to condition all these officers to think that their future military opponent is the Tea Party in the United States and get them ready to shoot them. So that's why we're going to go right outside of Leavenworth. Our first billboard is going to be right outside the main gates where this guy works, and it's going to say, Colonel Redcoat Benson, the Tea Party is not the enemy, and soldiers, honor your oath, refuse to fire on Americans, taking the message right straight to his doorstep to counter him. So it's an info war, and rather than going hat in hand to the Department of Defense and asking them to please teach the Constitution and teach the truth, we're going to go right around them and go straight to the troops.
And everybody at that base is going to be talking about that, and it's going to show that the majority are patriots, and that this guy is I guess, Benedict Arnold in waiting. Because for people to understand, folks, the Tea Party started by Ron Paul type folks, myself and others, that got taken over by the Republicans. But the new Tea Party has got some good people with good ideas overall, but they're super Islamophobic. I mean, they're like glass parking lot, the Arabs. And to say that they're going to link up, and they predict what North Carolina, they're predicting this with Al-Qaeda, I mean, that is, it shows the battle space. They're saying, okay, Al-Qaeda was the threat, now it's domestic, the Tea Party's Al-Qaeda. And people are like, well, that's idiotic. Well, the general public that doesn't even read a newspaper, they'll believe whatever they're told. And so-called liberals, the half the public that's on government dole, they'll want to believe it. Look, if they get promised a welfare check, they'll call for Stuart Rhodes to be executed. And these people, I've had them. I've had local operatives in the Democratic Party say they hope yeah, we are going to take over and kill you. These are authoritarian scum. And they've hijacked our damn country with a bunch of foreign banks, and it's important to call them out now before the hammer drops. You are traitors, you are scum, you are filth, you are the enemy, and we are not with Al-Qaeda, you damn liars.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's a gift. I think it's wonderful to have them come right out and name the Tea Party as the enemy, because it wakes the Tea Party up. And like you said, these are people who, during the Bush years, were more than happy to sacrifice the Bill of Rights on the altar of security, and they were only looking outside, looking at the Islamic threat. Well, now all of that has been turned on them. And so this wakes them up. It only helps. Just as all of the long train of abuses leading up to the American Revolution only pushed more Americans to the side of the patriots, same thing's happening now. So the more they attack veterans, the more they attack the Tea Party, I love it. Keep it on. Bring it on. And they want to bring foreign troops in the United States, that'd even be better. That'd be the best.
We're going to instantly win once they do that. But I've studied it. The plan is get us in a civil war, provocateur stuff, demonize liberty movements ahead of time to control the battle space, as you said. They'll stage the first events with like really unsavory white supremacist types, toothless people. They'll do that. Then they'll start attacking us. Then people will resist. It'll decimate the military and police forces that actually do it. Then they're planning to bring in the I-4. That's the public plan, as you know, to bring in foreign troops. This is not just some theory. And the day that happens, Katie barred the door when they're on the news going, helpers are here to help secure things. I mean, I mean, come on. Listen, you look at Janet Napolitano and these globalists. They're smart at certain levels. They hired Primakov. They hired Wolf from the old Soviet Union to bring him over here to help set this up 10 years ago. But Janet is, in all these suits, reportedly, and I believe it, running around with all her lesbian buddies on crazy power trips. These criminals are mentally ill. And there's so many yes men around them, they really think they're going to win this fight. And it's not just me wanting to believe this. I know, I can see out into the future. Historically, they're going to lose, Stuart.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have the same hubris that the British officer corps had regarding our forefathers. They believed they would not fight back. They didn't dare fire on British troops. And they got their butts handed to them in Lexington and Concord all the way back to Boston. So this will be a repeat of that. And so that's what we have to count on. We have to count on their own arrogance and hubris. So I hope they bring in foreign troops, just like the Crown brought in the Hessians. And that's what really tipped the scales on the side of the Patriots, was when they did that.
And, of course, a lot of the German Hessians actually said, hey, I want to be free, and ran off.
Right.
That was one of the biggest injections of German immigrants to this country. Now, Stuart, get more into this billboard campaign.
Well, we really feel like we're running out of time, and so we want to take the message straight to the troops en masse. And so we're going to put the first one's going to be outside of Leavenworth, then we got Fort Riley there where the big red one's at. The one out there, and then we're going to go to Camp Lejeune and Fort Stewart, Georgia, the next two, to the combat arms. And the message there, like for Camp Lejeune, it's going to be Iwo Jima flag raising, and it says, they honored their oath, honor yours. You know, do not refuse to attain American citizens, and NDAA is treason, to teach them about the NDAA. So that's
absolutely,
our main focus. Absolutely,
because when they do an NDAA, when they do this stuff, it just confirms everything we've said. It's a confession.
Well, you know what's really interesting is that we've been some of the most strident speeches I've ever given, like that interview I did with you on NDAA. I mean, I said some pretty hardcore stuff, and yet the SPLC will not. They're silent on that. They have not yet drug out anything I've said about NDAA, no matter how firebrand it is. And the reason why is because they don't want to touch with the 10-foot pole, because it's happening. That's the real, you know, it's right there in black letter law. We can point right to it. And so they don't want to talk about it. So that's why this billboard campaign is going to focus on the NDAA, teach the troops.
What are the people aiding, people knowingly aiding this globalist takeover? I mean, I guess treason is taking up arms, but this is political treason. I guess it's sedition. Is it espionage?
Well, I call it treason because treason is making war against the United States. And when they authorize the use of military force, military detention, under military trial under the laws of war, what is that except making war against you? So that is treason.
Now, Stuart, continuing here, let's talk about the mood of the military, because you've got your pulse on it like probably nobody else. I'm seeing, every time we talk, it's an accelerated awakening, but now it's at hyper warp. What are you seeing?
Oh, exactly. And like I said, talking to those 4 Marines the other night gave me chills. These are guys, they're just like Brandon Robb. They're every bit as awake and aware as he is, and they're standing up for him, and they admire him. They see him as a leader. And I think they're right. And so I think there is a mass quickening going on inside the military. And I think it's too late. I think it's too late for the bad guys. There's already enough truth that's out there, and all we want to do now is amplify it. We want more. We want to create more Brandon Robbs in the U.S. military, more woken up, stand-up Marines. They got courage. These are guys who have been in combat. They've seen it. These are not guys who are going to roll over and just do what they're told. They've got it. They got the cojones to stand up. And so what we just need to do is make more of them in the military. Go wake them up.
Expanding on that, I'm really worried about false flags. Give us your historical concern on that, because I think that's the one ace in the hole the enemy has. So we've got to control the battle space and expose that.
Well, absolutely. I mean, as we both know, that's how the Nazis did it. They did the Reichstag fire, and right after that fire, there was a Reichstag fire decree, and then the Enabling Act 1 month later, and that's exactly how the Nazis.
And then Gleiwitz to start the war with Poland.
Sure, exactly. And so, you know, but that's the playbook. And what's kind of nice, though, is this is why I think they're so afraid of the whole truther movement, is because, you know, whether a person believes 9/11 was inside job or not, the historic record of false flags, including Operation Northwoods here in the United States, cannot be argued with. You know, when someone starts to talk to me about, oh, no president of the United States would ever do that, I point to Operation Northwoods, where you had the Joint Chiefs of Staff proposing this to Kennedy, and thankfully Kennedy had enough of a backbone to say no. But then look what happened to him. So you can show, look, guys, this has happened throughout history. Don't be surprised to see it again. And I hear that more and more among people